essentially follows him and his journey from like essentially being a nobody that had to bow down to their king at the time, who was an awful king. And it follows his journey from being a nobody to him very much becoming a big somebody. I won't spoil it, but he also has a wife, Lakata, who I love. She's such a strong female lead. She takes no BS from anybody. She is what they call a shield maiden. So instead of her being at home waiting for her hubby to come home from all these expeditions, because you know they travel by boat, and they go to all these foreign lands to like raid it essentially and steal gold and silver coin from other nations, as they did back then with the Vikings and such. But she is trained in combat. She is just as good. He's like the Ragnar, her husband, is like the #1 top warrior in the village, and then she's right under him. So she trains other ladies that want to be warriors to become what they call shield maidens instead of warrior. And they're just like this sector of warriors that are all female, that are bad ASSs. Like, they take, like I said, they take no crap, don't play with them. Lagatha has taken on a group of like 4 men by herself and survived, because that's how good she is in combat. Like, I love her. If you know me, you know I love a good, strong female lead. I love them. I love women that, you know, have a softer side as well, but in general, my all-time favorite is women that are like, I know who I am. I don't bow down to you. I don't bow to any man. Like that scene from that scene from Riddick, the Vin Diesel movie series, where he goes before the king or whatever, and he's like, the king's like, bow, and Riddick is like, I bow to no man. That's very much like the vibes that I love from female leads. Like, no, you bow to me. So anyway, that's what I've been watching mostly. But because it is 6 seasons long, and I found it when the show was done airing, basically, it's taken me a little bit to get through, but I love it. And then it's taken me a long time because I restarted. I found it, I got all the way to season 3, and then I told my aunt about it, because me and my auntie, we have the same taste in movies and TV shows. So every single time, like, I found The Last Kingdom, turned her onto it, and it's her second favorite TV show of all time. Her first favorite is Game of Thrones. I found Medici, turned her onto it. I found Rain, turned her onto it. I found like a ton of shows. Every time I find something I like, I tell her, because I know she's gonna love it. So because it's on Amazon, you can watch party it. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna start it tonight. And I was like, well, why don't we watch party? So I had to, even though I was on season 3, I started over with her. And so now we're caught up together on season 4. But that's why it's been taking me months and months to get through, because I think I mentioned this a couple of times, sprinkled in some rambles, that I found this new show that I like. And I'm still slowly making my way. So anyway, that's number 1. Let's back out and see what number 2 is. The second thing that I have been watching is a movie. Don't Come For Me. I have been literally watching, at the moment, my hyperfixation movie is Jupiter Ascending, with Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis. Now, I have already ranked, because Channing Tatum is my bae, and I've told you guys this, in that, like, ranking 2000's Heartthrobs movie, I ranked my favorite movies by him, and Jupiter Ascending is on the list, and I have not watched it in years. But the reason I'm like, don't judge me, is because I know out of all Channing Tatum's movies, Jupiter Ascending small, so it's not making the really loud clacking. But I forgot what I was saying. But it's not, I think I was saying it's not intentional, it just happens that way. But anywho, regardless, I'm gonna read to you what it's about, because I could explain it in my own words, but if I do that, you're gonna be here for like 30 minutes because I ramble, and then I get sidetracked and ramble about something else, and then I ramble some more, and then when I'm trying to explain things myself, I just got a text from my job. Anyway, Jupiter Ascending came out in 2015. Oh, I don't know if I finished my thought. I think what I was saying before I got sidetracked, you see what I'm saying? Do you see? I think what I was saying before I got sidetracked is, while I can recognize that Jupiter Ascending is actually really cringy, really cringy, there's just something about it that's so, I love anything and everything having to do with space. Like, you know how some people, certain factors, certain components of a book or a movie, it always is like their comfort place and draws them in. I just did like a 40 facts about space thing on my Patreon because I love anything having to do with the universe, the planet, the cosmos, black holes, like the stars, all of that I am obsessed with. I am a proud Trekkie. I love Star Trek. I watch it repeatedly. And I'm talking about the TV series, the original TV series, although I do really love the movies as well. But I often wish that Star Trek was real and I could volunteer and sign up to go on the Enterprise and explore space. Please. So anyway, anything having to do with space, I love it. And I think that's why I love this movie so much. Plus, it has some heavy hitters, in my opinion, in it. So, the movie Jupiter Ascending. From the streets of Chicago to far-flung galaxies, Jupiter Jones, played by Mila Kunis, embarks on an adventure as the next in line for an extraordinary inheritance that could alter the balance of the cosmos. To me, 10 out of 10, this movie is stellar. Don't come for me. And if you do, I don't care. I love this movie. I'm probably the only person in the world that loves this movie, but so what? And when I said it has heavy hitters in it, it had that really sticky consistency on the inside, and now it's stuck in my teeth. I'm gonna have to brush my teeth after this. But it has Eddie Redmayne in it, who I adore. I adore him. I have not ever seen a movie that Eddie Redmayne was in that I hated. Ever, ever, ever. He's one of those actors that if I see his name on the roster, I know that movie is gonna slap. I know it's gonna be so good, even if his performance is carrying the movie on his back. Like, I know it's gonna be good just because he's in it. I love him, and his performance in Jupiter Ascending, he's like a maniacal, he's insane. He's literally insane. He reminds me of Aro from Twilight. I love his performance in this. And then Channing Tatum, who is one of my top 10 bulls of Hollywood. I love him in this. Mila Kunis, I'm not ever really been a big fan of. I love her eyes though. Like, not even the color. I just love how big and round they are. But that's besides the point. Her acting range and skills have never been something that I would praise personally. She's not awful, but she's just not a favorite of mine. But she does really good in this too. So I love this movie, and I have watched it at least 5 times in the span of 2 months. Leave me alone. Okay. Next thing. Okay. is interviewed on the show, and he tells his life, you know, when he entered Hollywood and such, and how from the ages of 14 to 15 he was, trigger warning, SA'd by a grown man in his 40s repeatedly and brutally. And he doesn't go into detail, but they show snapshots because it went to court, even though his identity was kept secret to the public because he was a minor. But it went to court, and the guy went to jail for 60 months, which is disgusting because he did despicable things. But they showed like snapshots of the court documents and showing you or telling you some of the things that was done to Drake when he was a literal child. You cannot convince me that like 13, 14, 15, 16 are not children. I'm almost 30 years old, and that's just how I see that age group. And once you get past 25, if you don't start seeing children, if you don't start seeing those ages as children, reevaluate. If you're past 25 and you still see something desirable about like a 16-year-old. So anyway, that's essentially what Quiet on the Set is about, and the reason that I regret watching it is because it just made me so heavy. It's all that I could think about after I finished. I went to bed thinking about it. I dreamt about it. I woke up this morning and it was the first thing on my mind. Like, it's a documentary, a 4-part documentary, and it's just so heavy because now that I know, right, now that our eyes have been opened, and you can't say that it's a lie or it's not real, it literally went to court. There was evidence, and the way that it went to court is because the man that did what he did to Drake admitted to doing it. But anyway, the reason that I regret it is because I can now not think about anything that has a child star in it and not feel devastated and not get so sad, because I'm like, I know for a fact that child predators are going to go where the children are, and what better way to be surrounded by children than a TV show that is about kids, that stars kids, right? Because Drake was not the only instance that was mentioned. There were other predators that were found and convicted on different sets on Nickelodeon. And so I know for a fact though that it is not limited to Nickelodeon. I was never a Nickelodeon kid. There are a few shows here and there that I saw that caught my attention for a little while, but even then I didn't stick around long because I didn't really find any of it funny. It wasn't my sense of humor. I was a Disney kid, but that's not like a one-uppance, because now that I know that stuff like that was happening, now that I'm no longer blind, I have no doubt in my mind that it was not limited to Nickelodeon. It was probably the same things probably happened on Disney and any other network that features that centers around children. I'm pretty sure predators have found their way in and they slipped through, and awful things have been happening to kids on these TV shows that are playing these characters that we as children adored, and we had no idea what they were going through behind the like the idea that ignorance is bliss, don't watch that. Don't watch Quiet on Set because everything will be shattered for you. So yeah, I'm gonna move on because it's such a sensitive, triggering topic, and I was trying to be as delicate as I could in explaining what it's about without going into depth about what it's about. So that was a very light explanation, but like I said, I'm sure you guys have at least heard about it because it's trending right now. Oh yeah, and I just want to say, because when I know Drake Bell triggers a lot of people because of things that have gone on in the media about stuff that he supposedly has done. I don't know if it's true or not. I didn't do a deep dive. I'm not even gonna say what I'm talking about because if you know, you know. But Drake Bell has been accused of doing certain things, and I've been seeing a lot on social media people saying like, oh, I don't feel bad for Drake because for what he went through as a freaking kid because of what he did when he was an adult, and that's disgusting. You cannot tell me that what this man did decades later, what he possibly did, I don't even know if he did it, so I'm not gonna put that out there. You cannot tell me that what this man was accused of decades later as an adult justifies or makes okay what happened to him when he was a baby. Stop it. And if you're one of those people, block me. What he potentially did or didn't do as an adult, I don't know, but that does not make what happened to him any less devastating when he was a 14-year-old kid. So anyway, yeah, I can't even properly articulate it because like I said, I don't want to trigger anyone, but also I'm triggering myself just talking about it. But I did binge watch it yesterday, and it's what I have recently watched, so it had to go in here. Well, I didn't have to, but I'm not going to lie about it. You know, I don't know, I just feel like I'm being authentic, right? So watch that. Would not watch it again. Do not recommend it, but also that is no way me saying that these stories do not deserve to be heard. That's not what I'm saying at all. These people deserve to tell their stories. They deserve to have them heard and seen and acknowledged. But if I could go back, I wouldn't watch it. I'm just being honest. So anyway, another thing that I have been watching it's called Ready to Love, and it's on Discovery Plus. I just started it last night because I needed something light and fluffy after watching Quiet on Set, and also to watch Quiet on Set I had to get Discovery Plus because HBO Max is expensive and I didn't want to pay for it, and Discovery Plus is only like $4.50 a month, so I got that. And because I had it, because I have it for the next month, I was going through trying to find something else to watch, so I found a show called Ready to Love on Discovery Plus. It is a reality TV dating show about black singles, which I adore because often, and listen, I'm a sucker for a good reality TV. Like Jersey Shore will forever be iconic to me. I remember coming up, like I wasn't a kid, but I was still young, and I remember being obsessed with Jersey Shore, watching every single episode, and it is something, like I quite literally bought a Hulu subscription to watch Jersey Shore because it's something that I frequently go back and watch. It's just a comfort show to me. I love it. I love it. I love it. Azia. I freaking love it. Are you friends with her? Anyway, there's so many iconic. And real quick, like, okay, anyway, because I was about to go on a Jersey Shore deep dive. We're not gonna rebranded. I think now they're called Freeform or something of the sort. But Twisted came out in 2013. I can't remember the weeknight, but I was there every single night for the new episode. Oh my god, listen, that time, like, I'm so glad we have streaming now. We don't have to wait and we don't have a ton of commercials and blah blah blah, but there was just something special about that time, like having a schedule, like every single Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time you watched a new episode of your current obsession. Like, there was something so, the anticipation of it, the giddiness of it, like the excitement of it, it was just another time, and I love it. Okay, and I think that's why I say all the time when it comes to a show that I watched as it was airing, that's why I mentioned that I watched it as it was airing, because it's just such a nostalgic time for me, and I just love that. So anyway, I watched it in 2013 as it was airing, and it is a show about this group of 16-year-olds, and if you know Avin Jogia or Joglia, whatever his name is, he is the star of this show. It's about a boy named Danny Desai, who is played by Avin, and he is freshly released from juvie. It's like a mystery thriller with little romance sprinkled in. He's released from juvie for offing his aunt. His best friend, who is named Jo, is a girl, and she doesn't believe that he did it because it was a trio of friends. It was Jo, Lacey, and Danny. 2 girls, 1 guy. They've known each other their whole life. They grew up together up until Danny went to juvie at the age of like 9 or so. And she's like, first of all, we were young, so I don't believe that you offed her. Second of all, we were like this. Me, you, and Lacey were like this, and you won't tell me why you did it, and you've never kept a secret from me in your life. So the fact that you won't tell me why you did what you did to her leads me to, she just is very suspicious of it, and so she ends up investigating what really happened that night, and if Danny is in fact responsible for the murder of this woman. And so I don't know how else to describe it other than that without like giving actual spoilers, but if you like mystery / thrillers with like romance sprinkled in, you would really, really, really love this. It's such a good show. It is such a good show, and I wish it had lasted for longer. It's a comfort show for me. It's something that I frequently go and rewatch, and the way that it ends is just like, why? Like, why? But yeah, so the synopsis says a charismatic 16-year-old reconnects with his childhood friends after being released from juvie, which is basically what I just said. I just went into a little bit more detail, but you can find it on Amazon Prime, and I believe it's on Hulu as well. Don't quote me, but I have watched it on Hulu before in the past, and I think it's still up there. So those are the things that I've been watching recently. I'm gonna take a sip of juice because my mouth is dry. I'm just looking at the picture on my TV, but that's what I've been watching recently. I would love if you let me know what you've been watching recently. And when I say recently, I mean like in the past like 5 months. These are the things that I've been watching. I haven't